Ancient underground cities around the world. Were they an antipode to the world that the Archons imposed on us? We're living at the end of a 12,000-year cycle. The transitional period between cycles is always associated with serious cataclysms. At the end of the last period, an event on the global scale took place, a geological catastrophe that caused the flooding of a large island in the North Atlantic, Atlantis. And now we see the cyclicity is repeating itself. And at this time, we are living, and we are already observing today, how the planet trembles from climatic events that our civilization has not yet seen. But we need to know the truth in history, and based on it, make decisions that will affect the future fate of the living humanity. Let's rewind time to the past and unfold the entire chain of events that took place on the planet after the flood. In Egyptian mythology, legends about the Golden Age, Zep Tepi they called it, have been preserved, the time of the spiritual rebirth of mankind. Tepi means time, and Zep means time, and Tepi, the first beginning of cosmic existence. Zep Tepi means the first time or the first moment from the beginning of the birth of a new civilization. At that time, people who aspired to spiritual development remained on Earth, and the Atlanteans, along with their technocratic development, were expelled into the dungeons. Until now, there are numerous testimonies of underground cities and temple complexes. Derinkuyu is an underground city in modern Turkey. 12 floors go deep into the earth, with all halls and tunnels having excellent ventilation. Scientists believe that only a small part of this territory is open. There are hypotheses about 20 floors not yet discovered there. The ancient Longyu caves of China have an area of more than 30,000 square meters or 320,000 square feet. What technologies were used to develop these caves and carry out architectural measurements is unknown. Also in the territory of China, there are huge, mysterious Huashan caves at many stone columns and unique structures of processed materials. It's not known where the excavated stone went, but it would be enough to pave the way for 240 kilometers. All this suggests that at that time, technologies were used that are unknown to modern mankind today. The underground labyrinths of the Chincanas, tunnels near the city of Cusco in Peru, are very interesting. These are underground streets with many branches and traps. None of the adventurers dared to enter there without a coil of rope tied to the exit. Otherwise, of course, it would be like a labyrinth, an ancient Greek labyrinth, and you wouldn't be able to find your way out again. However, this did not help, and in the 1950s, over 200 people did go missing there. They searched for their jewels of ancient kings, which they heard about from the stories of Philippe Lamontier, a French caver, who by a lucky chance got out of these labyrinths of caves with signs of bubonic plague infection, holding a golden ear of corn in his hands. He died soon after, and the cob is still in the Lima Museum, the corn of cob. The cob of corn. Now, where these dungeons end, no one knows, and they say that they lead to the very hearts of the Andes, but many researchers agree that underground tunnels go under the oceans and connect the continents. Now, I remember I once found in a book exhibit a book concerning the underground tunnels of Athens. I don't know where I put that book. And obviously, these underground tunnels were built by pre-flood people. Now, unfortunately, I think I lost that book. Anyway, going back to this, in the folklore of the South American people, there's a legend about snake people living in dungeons. They began to talk about them when speleologists began to disappear. We're talking about snake people being, I guess, reptilians, what we would call. So speleologists began to disappear. We know that these snake people are reptilians or Apexians, an alien race that enslaved humans in the past. Perhaps they went into the dungeons with the Atlanteans, but in any case, the underground tunnels were the place of bloody sacrifices. In Peru, not far from the Nazca Desert, which is known for its drawings, It's glyphs, which can only be seen from a bird's eye view. There are caves in which stone pedestals similar to altars were found. The pedestals had gutters for blood flow. Some of the tunnels were filled with human remains, and they were so long that they went under the ocean. There are myths about underground gods in China, but an even more interesting legend exists among South American tribes. The legend tells about the Almighty Father of humanity, who, having completed the act of creation of the earth, and on the earth went to his underworld. This legend is an echo of knowledge about the supreme leader of Atlantis, the El, who really had tremendous opportunities, even if he endowed allotments and people all over the earth with his sons and daughters. The word elite, just comes from the word El, and when the children of El were considered gods, they ruled almost the entire planet. And then Atlantis, it really was a developed civilization to the level at which modern humanity has not yet reached. There are incredible masterpieces of underground art, presumably made by their descendants in the dungeons of India. 6,000 years ago, there was a turning point in the history of mankind, and it was just 6,000 years after the death of Atlantis. At this time of the Golden Age, the period of spiritual awakening of mankind was replaced by the consumer format of the society to which we still live. We believe that the ancient Sumerians created the first cities and states, and this was a leap in the development of our civilization, but in fact it was the loss of humanity and all spiritual foundations. A person at this time ceased to live by spiritual values and takes on guidelines of a consumer format. As a result of this shift in priorities, people were displaced. Then the descendants of the Atlanteans who lived underground came out, and those who continued to adhere to the new way of society were forced to either move to other territories or go underground, often occupying the same caves in which the descendants of the Atlanteans had previously lived. One of the clearest examples of such a movement of people is the underground temples of Malta. It's believed that the world's oldest underground temple, the Hal Seflieni Hypogeum of Malta, Hypogeum means basement in underground area in Greek. The Hypogeum of Malta began to be built earlier than 4000 BC. That's 6,000 years ago. The most interesting thing is that it has egg-shaped caves that go deep into the earth. Historians believe that such an oval shape was created because at that time the cult of Mother Earth reigned in Malta. They assumed that this form personified the female womb and meant fertility and childbearing. However, one must understand that such ideas about a female deity are caused only by the dominance of the materialistic consumer thinking format in the minds of modern people. In fact, the veneration of the divine feminine is associated with the spiritual development of society of the distant past, and the power of creation is hidden precisely in the female, which has a sacred meaning. A stone figurine of a sleeping obese woman found in the Hypogeum spiritually personifies a feminine principle which underlies the creation of the world and contributes to the spiritual transformation of man. Perhaps at some time there lived people who were really engaged in their spiritual development and had nothing to do with the Atlanteans. The Hypogeum chamber has many entrances, halls, traps, tunnels, stairs, steps, and other objects. The ancient underground temple resonates at a frequency of 110 gigahertz, which corresponds to the frequencies of many ancient megalithic structures and has a huge impact on the psyche of people. It should be noted that endless tunnels were found in the depths of Hypogeum, where people also disappeared. There is a known case of 30 school children, together with teachers, going on a cave tour there and vanished without a trace. They say that a week before that they saw something incomprehensible, hairy creatures that looked like people, but it's not known whether this is true or false. Thus, underground cities are a huge network of labyrinths located at various depths of planet Earth, and they are built using technologies that are not available to us today. Exploring these tunnels is very dangerous, so the entrances to them are sealed by the authorities. Maybe someone still lives there, but the most interesting thing is that at one time people were expelled there because they lived in consumerism, using magic, ritual sacrifices to gain infinite power on Earth. Bankers, Archon, world government, Masons, Illuminati, Freemasons, these are all descendants of those who ruled this world for millennia during the time of Atlantis. Their rule has led to the fact that they were simply destroyed as an unnecessary branch of the evolution of mankind, but today they have returned and regained strength, and look at the world we live in now. Wars, dominance of some others, class inequality, consumerism, and most importantly, the lack of spirituality. This is an exact copy of the decomposed society of the times of Atlantis. This is on Soul Ask. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box